Hey there, everybody. Welcome to Saturday night. Let me back us off just a tad bit there. We had a little bit of technical difficulty. One of our members, we're going to proceed without him, and maybe he can catch up later. So welcome to the show, Cryptids and Conspiracies, and where the truth is somewhere in the middle. Tonight, I don't think it is, but we'll find out. But we went from last week talking about a controversy that had almost nothing to back it up. And this week, we're up to our eyeballs. We're practically up to our eyeballs here. So we're going to focus and narrow in kind of on the Lusitania. But we're basically asking the question, was Woodrow Wilson the most evil president we've ever had? I think he has a decent resume that we can go through. But start out, let's bring the guys who are here on board, including this guy.
If it's no Scottish, just clap!
Hello.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us. How are you doing?
Absolutely. And by the way, he's European, and when they say having us, he just means having me. So for everybody in America. Anyway.
Oh, right.
So
sorry, you lost me there.
Yeah. You're not doing a pro.
I lost myself.
They think you might be doing a pronoun thing. You see, that you're them, they, or something. So.
No.
Yeah.
I can't confirm. I'm not one of they, them, he, him thing, but them.
Oh, okay.
No.
Right. Just clarifying.
You may proceed.
All right. Next.
Sir, nobody worries about upsetting a droid.
It's because a droid don't pull people's arms out of their sockets when they lose. Wookiees are known to do that.
We are here. We are excited.
Yep. I'm brimming with anticipation.
Yeah.
We.
All right. Well, Abby might be putting in a appearance later. We'll see.
Yes. Hopefully, we'll see
how
his
he's
battle
in
with his computer goes.
He's in California, and the internet's a little buggy, as in most third world nations.
Yeah.
So, but we will see. We will see. Anyway. All right. So when we're talking about the most evil presidents that we've ever had in history, I do hear a lot of people. Some people bring up Nixon, or some people bring up, the last three presidents were kind of ringers. I'll just say four. Last four presidents were pretty much vile pieces of what.
Yes.
We'll just say.
Are you talking about the previous president currently? That one.
Talking about Clinton. Let me be specific.
Billy Clinton,
Bush, Obama, and
W.
Biden. But I repeated myself. Let's just say Biden. We'll just say
Biden.
Was Biden even aware of how bad he was?
He wasn't aware of what time of the day it was. What the
heck? Barely make it up the stairs, for goodness sake.
He's like, who knows?
Hello, Peter.
Who knows?
No, he was sharp. He was the sharpest that we've ever seen.
He was the sharpest tool in the dump yard.
We miss him already.
There you go. Yeah, they actually do. They actually do. So, anyway, yeah.
Well, it's the gaffs. It's the gaffs we miss. The gaffs.
I have a question. I have to ask a question.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Your glasses. You customized your glasses.
Nope. The stem broke, and I'm currently down. I only have one pair. So.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Are they prescription?
So I'm gonna have to go and
readers.
Yeah, they're prescription. I'm blind as a freaking bat. So after I get off here, I've tried gluing them multiple times. Could not get it to stick. So I'm looking at other options currently after we get off shift. After we get off this show, So you just got to overlook it. Sorry.
Well,
you know.
you know.
I look like
If you-
Poindexter right now. Okay,
Actually, no, they don't look bad. They're actually pretty level, at least from my point of view, from right here. I mean, considering.
Well, the
That's why I said
same.
you just customize them. It's like,
Well, no. If you like, I've had wireframes, and when something happens with them, they just look wonky. But these
right.
plastic is
Okay.
just, Anyway,
Gotta love that plastic.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Anyway, funny thing about it is if you had plastic glasses, that meant you got the cheapest thing on there. But now they're the style, so it is what it is.
Right.
Best Biden ever, right?
Yeah,
there you
best
go.
Biden ever.
There you go.
Which stand-in are you talking about, B-Dog?
Sorry, you're talking about Biden. I started, my nose started itching for some reason.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, don't know where that cocaine came from. All right. So yeah, we're talking. So yeah, it seems like with the last. Yep. So the last four guys that do have very strong candidacy, but the guy we're going to talk about today. All right.
Right.
He's done. He's done. Okay.
He's frustrated about the telecommunication industry and computers and etc. So
yeah.
Okay. I hear you. We'll catch up with you next time.
Yeah.
No
hang out in the chat and
rag us and tell us how ugly and stupid we are. Just doing that.
We suck.
We suck. All right.
Apart from me.
Okay. So what if I told you guys? That we had a president that got us into a world war after he said he wouldn't, and as soon as he got reelected, he did. We had a president that had a pandemic, which to this date is the worst in the world history, outside the bubonic plague. And he did nothing about it. Didn't even, entire towns were being wiped out, and he didn't say boo about it.
Didn't do anything about it. Yeah.
That we had a president who was so racist that he had a KKK fan film shown in the White House.
Birth of a Nation.
Yep. Reversed all desegregation.
Yep. Sure did.
Demoted and fired anybody with a different skin color.
Oh yeah.
And was just basically an invertebrate racist for most of his life. Came out of the Confederacy. His family was the Confederacy. Okay. So, and then what if I tell you that we have a president whose wife died while he was in office, and less than 2 or 3 months later, he was engaged.
You forgot something.
Go ahead.
Uh-oh.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
You forgot that he had to grudgingly accept the women's movement.
Yes, he allowed women to vote and prohibition.
Grudgingly. Prohibition as well. Yeah, I saw that earlier.
And prohibition. Yep. Allowing women to vote, that should be the most evil president in history right there. But anyway.
The humanity! Ah!
Oh, no, I did not say that. Yes, I did. I really did.
Dare you?
Anyway. All right. So, also, what if I told you that we went from a independent banking system that was overseen by the federal government to making the whole entire banking system under one entity that wasn't even controlled by the federal government, but just by the biggest banking concerns in the world, independent from the United States.
Yep.
And
he sounds great.
Oh yeah. What a great guy.
Oh, one last thing.
Let's have some more.
One last thing. He was also the architect of the Treaty of Versailles.
Yeah.
Which eventually caused World War II. And he was also he created the precursor to the United Nations.
Yeah, the League of Nations. Yep. League of Nations.
Wow.
Okay.
Is that all he
And
did?
he also changed the constitutional procedure for the from an appointment of U.S. senators per states to electing U.S. senators per states, which basically federalized the senators, because before him, they were appointed by the state's legislatures to represent the state house concerns.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
And then because he did that, I think it was the next year, they passed the income tax, or they proposed the income tax for ratification for 2/3 of the states. And there's still questions about one state not submitting all their paperwork.
Which brings me up to the fact that he created the IRS and the FBI.
Yes, the IRS and the FBI. Yes, he did. He did.
So, by the way, speaking of a Biden, he also pretty much was a stroke victim the last year.
Oh, yeah, that's president. Right. Yep.
And wasn't seen in public that entire year.
Nope. Was his wife and somebody else was pretty much running the show.
Yeah. We've never had that before, where we had a president that was like, completely, totally absentia.
Yeah.
And other people were running things for him.
Yeah.
So, which, somebody that wasn't vile POS would have stepped down, acknowledging their incapacity, but he didn't. So, now, also, the only reason he was elected, he was elected with 44% of the vote. How is that possible, do you ask? Well, because a former president, Theodore Roosevelt, got butthurt at the hand-picked successor, Taft, and split the vote of the Republican Party.
He did.
And he came closer to winning than Taft.
Yeah, Taft finished last.
Well, the socialists finished last, but the socialists actually had more percentage of a vote than socialists have ever gotten in this country.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
He had like 8% or something like that. But yeah, so he shouldn't ever been elected in the first place. But Teddy Roosevelt, who, by the way, was almost assassinated. He was almost assassinated to giving a speech, and the book he had, the campaign speech in his pocket slowed the bullet enough that it went into his chest cavity, but not very far. He kept the bullet in him the rest of his life, by the way. But so he goes in there and gives the speech for about an hour before he goes to the hospital.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And he basically says, excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry for the delay. Someone just tried to kill me. The bullet's in here, but it takes more than that to kill a bull moose.
There we go. Yeah.
So, if he wasn't responsible for Woodrow Wilson winning, I would say that's the most badass moment in America.
Yeah. Well, another badass president was Old Hickory. Someone tried to assassinate him, and he beat the living shit out of himself.
Yeah, he beat him down.
Oh yeah, he beat the living shit out of that bastard. He was old.
Yep.
Is that the best you can? Is that the best you can do?
I know, yeah.
I would say Theodore Roosevelt doing a speech with a bullet in him is
badass.
Was the most badass moment.
Yes.
Until a certain guy with blood streaming down his face.
Yeah.
Fight.
Yes. Yeah. Holy smokes.
Last year.
But good old Woodrow Wilson. He was pretty crafty.
Pygmy woman trying to cover
wait a minute.
Him, anyway.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Could this be?
Yeah.
Could this be?
Yeah, he was. Oh.
Fuck the internet.
Are we?
Tell us how you really feel.
All right,
Adam.
all right.
Yes.
Really? Really? Fuck
Okay,
the internet.
let me. Okay, well, okay, so
Well,
we're
now
gonna
that
get
we have that
suppressed,
out of
but
the way.
no big deal. All right,
Glad you could make it, man.
welcome aboard, Abby. Welcome.
If I didn't have booze
Uh,
then, I have definitely have booze now.
The night's young.
Yeah, it's driving him to drink.
Hey,
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, this time. This time.
This time.
Anyway.
Well, there you go.
All right. So yeah, I'm my broken glasses and Abby's tech problems. We're having a really Woodrow Wilson kind of day.
exactly.
It's a Leo Getz version. They fuck you with the internet. They
No.
fuck you. Who gets fucked? Leo gets fucked.
YouTube goes suppress. So,
Suppress. No.
it's not like they're not
Let's-
suppressing us
That's
anyway.
in the first.
Let's
That's in
let's
the use of the
update
first
whole
minute. You
goddamn
can't.
system right now.
Right.
Yes.
Well,
Well-
it's like I was saying in my opening like monologue last week. With the whole Elvis thing, no evidence. Like no evidence. Everything's hearsay. Everything's like tangential, right?
Speculative.
But this week, it's like it's all hard evidence. I mean,
Mountains of evidence.
mountains of evidence. It's like we've got years and decades and decades and decades of evidence now. Over 100
Yeah.
years worth. Since this
Well, it's
bastard
so
walked
funny.
here.
This is how evil. This is how evil he was. I think it was at the end of his first term or the beginning of his second term. He had a meeting because maybe it was his second term, after his second term, because there was a series of riots that went over from the mass migration from the South, the blacks from the South going to the North, and like cities like Chicago, Philadelphia, etc., because of work industry. Okay, they were getting jobs out there, so there was big riots and shit. So there was at that time, whoever the individual was, I can't remember the name, but it was a black activist individual for rights and stuff like that. He met with Wilson. Wilson brought him to the White House. Okay, and Wilson pretty much told the guy there ain't nothing wrong with segregation, and it's all good. It's all rainbows. And
He actually said you should thank me.
Yes, pretty much. And then
No, he said you should
escorted him,
thank
had him
me
kicked out of the
for
frickin' White House.
segregation.
Yeah, you should
Yeah.
thank me, and kicked him
Mhm.
out of the White House.
Yeah.
Is that how evil that son of a bitch was?
Basically, he told him that you guys, if it wasn't for segregation, you guys wouldn't be able to compete with anything in America because you're so subpar.
Yeah, subpar.
So we're
They're
talking.
so
There's
subpar.
racism. There's racism, and then there's what this dude was.
Well, and here's the thing.
There's racism, and then there's that.
There's a little
So.
sidebar. I'll make a little sidebar here because I learned something earlier this week that happened in 1921 in Oklahoma City, where there was a Tulsa? Oh, it's Tulsa. Okay, close. It's Oklahoma. There was basically they burned down an entire half of a town. A bunch of racist, skinhead, Ku Klux Klan, whatever. At gunpoint. At gunpoint, and about 300. Well, initial estimates was 330, but now they've estimated over the years it's probably closer to 300 people. And this was basically the destruction of the Black Wall Street because everything that got destroyed were people who were beginning businesses and becoming affluent. They were making their own way through making industry and stuff like that work for them.
And by the way, the raising of Red Rosewood, Florida, happened under Woodrow Wilson.
Yeah,
the entire town
imagine
in Florida.
And so all these army of racists held back the fire department at gunpoint. The cops didn't do shit except the cops rounded up all the residents to get them the hell out of there so they
Right.
wouldn't die. Holy shit! So yeah, 1917 or no, it's 1919, 1920, and 21.
It's about that.
That was
man.
all kinds of crazy shit going on. Thanks to Woodrow.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, during the time of the First World War, I saw that earlier that he was very, very authoritative on free speech. And,
Yeah.
yeah, you know,
Yeah, you
and
could say that. You
yeah,
could
talking
definitely say
about
that.
the
Yeah.
war and criticizing
Yeah.
the government. And the first thing I thought of was, sounds familiar.
Yes, exactly. Sounds just like current times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take a page
Well,
out of
for
his
you
book.
guys over there, yeah, they'll
Oh,
come
yeah.
around your ass up and throw you in jail for a naughty meme.
Hang
you
on.
know.
What's that I hear? Oh shoot!
How dare you?
It's the Apaches. It's the Apaches and the SWAT team coming in.
Yes,
you know,
exactly.
Before long. Well, that's the
Yeah,
funny thing.
we'll have them come busting through the window pretty soon.
Yeah.
You have said a naughty tweet online. We must arrest you.
Yes, exactly.
Well, you don't have anything as cool as Apaches in England. You got like Black Hawks or something. So anyway,
That's
So
true.
now they got.
That's true. We don't have a
all right.
Oh well.
So yeah.
Well, I can't really blame it on Woodrow Wilson, but something happened in our area, which
Well,
probably
last
happened
week,
because of Woodrow Wilson. But we had this town near me that was called Fontaflora, and it was mostly black, freed slaves. And this is about 1923, and the Duke Energy shows up one day and says, "Oh, we're going to dam the Catawba River, and we're going to create a lake here, and a hydroelectric dam. You have approximately a month to get out." And they flooded the whole area and created Lake
Holy
James.
crap.
So
Nuts.
yeah, around that time, that was
Yeah.
that was actually in 24.
Yeah.
So
So
Woodrow Wilson got out in 21, but
relevant time
that-
period.
that kind of environment that he created where the stuff could happen was probably
Yeah. He could
Yeah,
have
part
said
of
that.
Absolutely.
Legwork, yeah. Right.
because I mean Duke Energy's like, well, we're not going to get any kickback from the federal government for doing this, so
Yeah.
Well,
hey,
here's the
get
thing,
out.
is
We're making a lake. Anyway.
funny how not too much of his
Go ahead.
stuff was reversed. Not funny how some of his stuff, most of his stuff was not reversed after he was out of office.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
They just stuck around.
No, it's like they
Yeah.
were all in agreement or something.
Oh,
As a matter of fact,
yeah.
You think?
the only person that reversed anything was Calvin Coolidge.
Yeah.
The Silent Cow reversed a lot of his physical policies, and then suddenly the Roaring Twenties happened, and and so then Silent Cow just went like one presidency term says, okay, I've done all I want to do, and left. And the whole government was just roaring. Okay,
Yeah,
it was
and then
roaring
Hoover took
20s. It was
over.
flying.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
then Hoover
Honest
showed
man
up.
was in the presidency? What the
Yeah,
hell?
exactly.
Yeah, I know.
Exactly.
I
Honest
know.
man.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and nobody
Yeah.
talks about him. Nobody talks about
Yeah.
him. This dude had like the perfect presidency, like the most perfect presidency out of all of them, and nobody talks about him. But
Yeah. Good old.
he just came.
Coolidge.
He just came from Connecticut and went to Washington D.C. Quietly, make his way around and got the country like up on its feet and roaring. And then here comes Hoover right on the heels
Yep.
of it. And
Herbert Hoover
suddenly we're in a
fucked
depression.
everything up. Yep.
Yeah, no kidding.
Fucked everything up.
Yeah. But we were on a brink of depression by the time we got to the end of Woodrow Wilson's term, And oh, by the way, what created the Federal Reserve was the fact that anybody that could fight the Federal Reserve went down to the Titanic, And
Yeah.
one of the people that went down on the Lusitania was a Rockefeller.
Ah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now
Surprised they allowed that to happen.
there was like a little over 100 Americans who perished on that ship.
Yeah.
Out of all the victims, so there was a multitude of different
Right.
and nationalities that
Mhm.
died. There was about 1,000 Americans, but only like 100 and something perished. Or about
Yeah,
Well,
700
I do
Americans,
have
something like
a clip on that.
Oh,
that. Ooh.
Yeah, I do have a clip on that. 2 clips, as a matter of fact. Let me
Cool.
play the first one.
Cool.
This is kind of like leading up to everything.
Exactly.
Here we go.
The following year, 1914, Europe was at war, a conflict that soon engulfed most of the nations in the world, divided into 2 camps. The Allies, to include France, Great Britain, and its empire, to include the Commonwealth nations of Australia, New Zealand, Canada, South Africa, Imperial Russia, Italy, Romania, and Japan. Against the Central Powers, representing the empires of Austria-Hungary, Germany, and the Ottoman Empire, and Bulgaria. It is also claimed that Wilson tried to keep the United States neutral during World War I until he called upon Congress to declare war on Germany in 1917. This is a fallacy, and here's why. Historians friendly to Wilson cite the events that propelled his opinion to enter into World War I, such as the sinking of the Lusitania on May 7, 1915. And 761 people survived out of the 1,266 passengers and 696 crew on board, and 128 of the casualties were American citizens. If this were in fact the case, then why would Wilson wait 2 years to ask Congress for a declaration of war? Another event that is touted as his justification to enter the war was the notorious Zimmerman telegram. To quote Encyclopedia Britannica, the telegram was sent January 16, 1917, by German Foreign Secretary Arthur Zimmerman to the German minister in Mexico. The note revealed a plan to renew unrestricted submarine warfare and to form an alliance with Mexico and Japan if the United States declared war on Germany. The message was intercepted by the British and passed on to the United States. Its publication caused outrage and contributed to the U.S. entry into World War I. Even Wilson and his closest confidants did not take the telegram seriously. For one reason, it was believed by a few people that the telegram was a British invention to lure the United States into the war due to the incredible cost in Allied lives and the stagnant condition on the Western Front, which may be true. But no one in the U.S. government saw Mexico as a threat to the United States, despite the previous raids by the Mexican bandit Pancho Villa. It was well known that the U.S. Army was vastly superior in numbers and quality, more than adequate to stop a Mexican invasion should it occur. The other factor was Germany's decision to publicly announce unrestricted submarine warfare in order to prevent war material and supplies from reaching England. The Lusitania, a privately owned civilian luxury liner, was also proven to have been carrying war material to Britain in violation of the Neutrality Act and international law, according to the Hague Convention of 1907.
yeah. Well,
So that happened.
Yeah.
that did, yeah.
So they're like, Lusitania, the Lusitania. And it's like, I can't believe they sunk the Lusitania. And the Germans were like, well, we don't want you to have any shipping in these areas because we have active submarines, which is what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And so it's like, if you got shipping in this area, it's a target.
Well,
And so
the,
don't do it.
what was the German? I think it was the German embassy in the United States had, or whatever it was, had posted a notice saying that if you boarded any cruise liners going into the Atlantic, you do so at your own risk because there are German U-boats there, and
Right.
that was quite interesting. And obviously they knew that some of these liners were being used as munitions transports, which made them which made them an active target as far as they were concerned.
Yeah.
So,
So basically, the Germans were like, "Don't do this." We did it, and then suddenly we're like, "Oh, I think we need to enter World War One."
Oh my God!
They started pearl clutching.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I keep watching these videos and about that and one of the things that Woodrow Wilson, the reason why his PR was so good is because he was the first heavily photographed and videoed president, and he used that newsreel and photos and papers and things like that to his advantage. And so his PR was like top notch. I mean, it's like when I was in school, I remember when we talked about Woodrow Wilson, it was like there was like this like tragic hero kind of narrative that we were given, that he just wanted the League of Nations to work, and he pushed for it so hard that he had a stroke. It hurt his health, and he had a stroke, and it's like, why is he pushing so hard for a global organization, that's supposed to, supposed to prevent war,
Yeah.
And NATO came out of the League of Nations, by the way.
Oh
yeah.
I was wondering how that went.
Yes. The UN is not like officially like the successor of the League of Nations, but it has this like DNA,
right?
And so it's a baby daddy at the very least.
Can trace the roots back there. Yeah.
So let's review. So we had this president that came in that basically destroyed national cohesion. Caused problems between the races. Sold us out to globalists. Ruined our banking system. Took us off the gold, essentially off the gold standard, even it wasn't official till years later. But essentially, we went off the gold standard, and basically was used PR from the press, newsreels, and photographs to make him look like a good guy. As a matter of fact, the whole narrative on him was that he was a Presbyterian minister's son.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Yeah.
You know what he did before he became New Jersey governor and then president? He was the president of a Ivy League university.
Wasn't it Princeton?
Princeton.
Wasn't it Princeton?
Yes.
Yeah.
Where one of his life's works, one of the things he was most known for was rewriting history to make the Confederacy right.
Yeah, exactly.
So
who knew?
Did I mention he was racist?
What a hero! What a hero!
What a human being!
But he came out of nowhere. Nobody was talking about this guy. Suddenly, he's the governor of New Jersey. Suddenly, he's shows up on the national stage, and he only won. Even with the split ticket on the Republican side, he only won 44% of the vote.
Mm-hmm.
And so a disputed election.
Yeah. Right.
And they didn't even know if he was entirely in control his whole entire term. I mean, it's like Groundhog Day. It's like freaking Groundhog Day.
Yeah, exactly.
By the way, he created a whole bunch of federal agencies that took away freedoms from Americans.
Oh yeah, freedoms, rights. Yep.
Right.
All that.
No big deal.
And then on top of that, to not just his racism toward African Americans and former black slaves and children of black slaves, he went after Irish Americans, German Americans. He went after people who were American, but because they had, lineage from overseas, he pretty much started singling those people out.
He was an elitist. He was
He was
elitist
a
as shit.
POS.
Yeah.
But he did appoint a Supreme Court judge.
Yeah.
In his term, the very first Jewish Supreme Court judge.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. This is really. I only learned about this recently. Okay. There was a guy who became the Supreme Court, like the Justice Roberts is now. He became the Supreme Court guy,
Chief Justice.
Chief Justice. He was actually the leader. I mean, the people that everybody thought was going to win the Democratic ticket. He was the Secretary of State under Taft. His name was. I just had this looked up, but
Old Chubby Taft.
Yeah. Well, but he was
Taft.
Never met a sandwich he didn't like.
Right. That guy.
Him and Grover Cleveland at a buffet would scare everybody.
But
do you imagine him at the Nathan's hot dog eating contest on 4th of July?
Holy shit.
Well, Garfield was probably bigger than him.
Really?
Garfield,
Not
they got
Grover
shot.
Cleveland?
He got shot, and nobody could find the bullet.
No, shit.
No, Grover Cleveland, yeah.
Because he had iron skin, all that.
Garfield was pretty big too. Yeah, he was Chief Justice, but he was running against Woodrow Wilson in the primaries, and everybody that knows anything about it said that this guy would have been like one of the best presidents we've ever had. Even though he was a Democrat, he was very even-handed, and when he became Chief Justice, he was like one of the greatest Chief Justices we ever had. And he was actually from New York.
Okay. Probably followed the Constitution as it was written and didn't read into anything.
Oh, imagine that.
Or make up shit
he was
because of their
he was
ethnicity or whatever.
You mean he wasn't a constitutional scholar? These friggin' idiots.
Well,
like that Jackson chick.
If he would have been a good president, then that's why you didn't get him.
That's right.
Yes, that's right.
We know how this works.
Yep.
Well, wasn't Obama a constitutional scholar as well?
Possibly.
That was the claim. That's the claim.
The claim.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
I would like to see the yearbook of when he graduated Columbia University and see his smiling face in the pages amongst the graduates, or when he was an underclassman any freaking year that he supposedly was there. He had to have had some sort of a picture taken for his annual. They have those there too, not just high schools.
You mean Barry Santoro?
Barry Santoro, yes, Barry Santoro.
No, Charles Evans Hughes. Charles Evans Hughes.
Now, didn't he run for president though once and was defeated?
he ran for president against the second term against Woodrow Wilson, but he's considered by a lot of people that if he had become president, that he would have been one of the best we've ever had. But because Wilson had all the backing of the people who wanted war.
Like Ford and Harvey Firestone and J.P. Morgan and
Andrew not Carnegie Harvey Firestone. Harvey Firestone's a torch thing.
What?
Torch song trilogy. Harvey Firestone. No.
Okay. What the hell was this name?
It was Firestone, but it wasn't Harvey Firestone.
I thought it was Harvey Firestone. Whatever.
Anyway. All right. Anyway. I might be thinking Firestein. I could be. Anyway. All right. So
Frankenstein.
All right. So basically
what Tom?
But that guy, everybody that knows anything about it said if that guy had become president, that second term, that a lot of the really the most egregious things that Woodrow Wilson had did would not have happened. So it is what it is. But he basically waited to his second term to really break a lot of stuff.
Right.
Right.
Not that he didn't do it his first term, but that second term is like his motto was for his re-election campaign was he kept us out of war.
Yeah.
Until he was reelected, and then all bets are off.
Yeah. So let me play the second part of it.
The answer was simple. Wilson lied in his bid for a second term. He had every intention of getting involved in the war due to the pressure being applied by the men who got him elected twice. Wilson just needed a good reason to break his public promise. Again, according to Encyclopedia Britannica, Wilson was reluctant to break diplomatic relations with Germany, but, yielding to public clamor and senatorial advice, he severed those ties on February 3, 1917. While announcing the break in a speech to Congress, he voiced the fervent hope that the Germans would not, by sinking American ships, compel the United States to adopt belligerent measures. Wilson knew quite well that American ships were not to enter the declared war zone around the British Isles and coastal France. Germany had made it quite clear that all ships would be in danger if they did so. In fact, Germany specifically stated that American ships should avoid the war zone as to not create a diplomatic situation. By making that public statement even before the Lusitania sailed for Britain, Germany was in total compliance with international and maritime law. They had set out the conditions and locations allowing neutral nations to avoid direct contact. Wilson then decided to pay his political benefactors back and go to war.
Yeah. Sounds like a great guy, didn't he?
Yeah.
What a humanitarian.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wonderful human being.
Yeah. I was just trying to think, would it not be hilarious if politicians were actually honest?
Yeah.
Hi, we're from the government and we're going to screw you over.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be funny.
An honest politician? What is that, like a calm cat?
Yeah.
A calm cat, yeah.
Yeah, that's nuts.
So that's one of the things. We were talking about doing Lusitania last week, and when I was preparing for this the Lusitania, I kept running into Woodrow Wilson. All of this was essentially kind of a 9/11 event.
One of them, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Well, allegedly.
Allegedly. There's that word again.
Allegedly. Yeah. We basically what that was, in my opinion, the Lusitania was a combination of the Germans just wanting to blow something up, and somebody knowing that they shouldn't be putting a ship over there and did it anyway.
Yeah.
But it was a private cruise liner, so...
That's what I'm saying. That private cruise liner, who owned that sucker? Who owned that ship?
Was it Morgan?
I'm not sure.
I don't think it was J.P. Morgan.
On a downward trajectory, real start of the takeover, yeah.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, the globalists got together on Hyde Island after Woodrow Wilson was elected. And so, the whole Hyde Island meeting that eventually became the the Federal Reserve
Yeah.
Yep.
happened under Woodrow Wilson.
Yeah.
And the amount of smoke that they've been blowing about this guy for all these years, every textbook, every newspaper, every article, I mean, this guy was talking about the Encyclopedia Britannica, said, oh, he didn't have anything to do with this. He wasn't part of this. He was just this, poor put upon guy and, a victim of circumstance. And yet, I mean, everything that he says, everything he does, I mean, everything that he, even marrying this widow after his wife died.
Yeah, just a few months after his wife passed away.
I mean, it was
Just like
it's
that.
like the woman's not even cold, dude.
Yeah.
And then everybody's like, "Oh, our president's getting married." There's this big to do. It was like a big event or whatever. And then somebody's like, "Your wife's like it's like been 4 months since your wife died, the mother of your children."
Mhm.
And and it's like, but the press was like, "Shut up, wish him well, or shut up."
Well, yeah, and then I mean, if you don't wish him well, you wish him ill, or you criticize some kind of either the income tax situation or the change of the senators or
Oh,
just whatever, or you're sending us to war when you said you weren't.
Yeah.
We've seen this. The fucking Gestapo gets called out and you get dragged out and thrown in jail, persecuted.
Yeah.
The level of persecution.
Yeah,
in the United
he would
States,
literally jail people.
Yeah. Yeah. The level of persecution in the United
But
States
he used those
by the
federal
government
laws.
it's incredible. And the funny thing is we're seeing that on a daily basis in
no.
on the big island of England, Great Britain.
Yeah, I've heard of that place.
People are getting dragged out of freaking their homes at midnight because they, an evil, a mean tweet or a mean Facebook post or something stupid.
Yeah.
Yet he goes out and just pretty much slaughters a group of people, with a knife, gets a slap on the wrist,
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
sent on
that's
their way.
it.
Well, but it the thing that's really interesting is like you see this over and over again where an event that's completely totally like there's been things coming out about the 9/11 attackers, and that there was a fifth jet that was grounded, and they've come forward, and they were basically told to shut up and not say anything about it, but they've come forward that there was a fifth jet that didn't take off, and the people involved were basically they were in parts of the jet that you can't get unless somebody lets you in.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wasn't that the one that they were going to hit the White House?
Yeah, that's one that they think was
part of the
oh,
plan.
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but they after they abandoned, they had trouble with these people who were like, oh, when are we taking off? We need to take off now. We need to take off. And but after they grounded the jet and everybody got off, they saw people roaming around on the jet, and they took a SWAT team up there to check it, and there was a compartment underneath the pilot that could only be accessed by ground crew, and the hatch on the bottom was open, which would only happen from the outside. And so this is a fifth jet from 9/11. Is that and that doesn't sound like a bunch of students that just got together and took some flight
got
lessons.
box cutters at Big Five.
Box cutters, right?
Yeah, fucking
But
box cutters.
they found box cutters on another plane that was adjacent to it that had a similar tail number. And so they think that it's like why did these people have access to these jets like that, right? And so what happens? 9/11 happens, and suddenly we're like, oh, Patriot Act shows up. Oh, we have We just let's like make everybody put everybody under surveillance. Here we go.
Yep.
You know,
Pretty much.
and at Homeland Security, boom, another
Yep.
agency that shows
Yep.
up, kind of like the FBI and RS. You know,
Mhm.
and but it's like he waited until World War I happened, and suddenly he's cracking down on all free speech.
Yeah.
Like to the extent of he's journalists, you know,
Mhm.
people that just having conversations in bars were jailed. And it's like people that like badmouthed him about, you know, marrying some chick after, you know, 4 months after his wife died. Boom. It's like, oh, you're you're threatening your president. You know, I mean, you talk about cracking down on free speech. He cracked down on all free speech.
Yeah, the
But
selective
he used the
oppression, for
war
sure.
to do it. He
Oh,
used
yeah.
the war to do it.
Yes, he did.
Bunny, you aren't possibly insinuating that governments use matters of chaos to tighten the restrictions, are you?
Whatever do you mean,
Let me
fool?
think.
Oh.
Let me think
What?
about it.
What are you talking about?
Well,
What? What, pray tell, are you meaning by these words?
Our benevolent leaders would never do that. Never.
No,
They're so
never.
benevolent.
I'm speaking nonsense.
no.
Oh, they're
No,
so virtuous.
So okay,
Virtuous
I mean,
as a scorpion.
Pit viper.
Yeah.
so wasn't that jet supposed to hit building 7?
That's a possibility.
Well, that's certainly
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's right.
Yeah, it just looked like a controlled implosion. And you know,
yeah.
Only
it
looked
just
like
looked
it.
like a controlled implosion. It only looked like it. Only looked like it. The
It was in
both towers
free fall
too.
for that first 100 feet.
Mhm. Allegedly.
Yeah,
Allegedly.
and it just happened to fall directly down and not affect anything around them. You know,
Didn't
Mhm.
fall over.
in the middle of Manhattan.
It looked like
Yeah,
a Vegas
so-
hotel coming down.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes, it
Yeah.
does. When you look at that footage of the Vegas hotels coming down, it looks the same, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yep.
So did McAfee's house in Florida
Yeah.
Mhm.
cracked in half.
Well,
Yeah,
the
I
funny
like
thing,
that.
yeah, the
It-
funny thing
it-
about it was, you know, there was actually a plane that ran directly into the Empire State Building in a fog. It's like a
Oh.
DC 8 or something like that,
Yeah.
and
Right.
it took out like several floors. And after that, every building built after that was built with the idea of a plane impact happening.
Mhm.
And so all of them
Mhm.
had like apparatuses that were like redundancies are supposed to take over if a plane collides with a skyscraper because of that incident that happened in Empire State Building, which was too tough to fall, by the way.
Yeah.
It just
Yeah.
took out a
Yeah.
few floors and they were still able to use the elevators. But anyway,
Yeah.
that's when they built them right. Okay.
Yeah.
But
Exactly.
but so the whole entire thing is just like you know, when I was watching it that day, I was like, did I just see what I think I saw?
Come on.
Because
come
there's
on,
part of your brain that's going
Come
like,
Come on. We all know that buildings get tired and sometimes they just fall down.
yeah, there you go. From hits in the side. Yeah, from hits
Yeah.
in the side, right.
They
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, so what I'm saying is to load a video will blow your way. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
It will. It will. Controlled demolition. Yeah.
definitely.
Well, so basically, what if this guy right here was the template? What if he was the template? What if his evil SOB, the way he completely, totally, like, stole an election, you know, ramrodded everything through, took away free speech, you know, took away, got us into a war that we were completely out of, and basically, at the end of the day, was smelling like roses, you know, because the press was just like, you know, up till about the I think the mid 90s, Woodrow Wilson was considered one of the top 10 best presidents of all time.
Propaganda.
Up until the mid 90s when they started comparing notes and saying,
Yeah.
actually, is he though? Because up to that point, he was their boy. They wouldn't even, I mean, they were like the statues dedicated to him. He's the only president that is buried inside Washington, D.C.
I thought he was buried somewhere in Virginia.
No, he's buried at the National Cathedral.
Really?
Yes. Yes, he is.
It's almost like he was awarded some kind of honor.
Well, I think the globalists were very happy with him.
Wasn't George Washington supposed to be entombed in the Capitol building at some point, but it never happened?
No, he's in Mount Vernon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
There was designs for a crypt or something like that.
Well, the Lincoln Memorial or Lincoln Monument was supposed to be his burial place, but he wasn't.
Yeah, for Lincoln, but it wasn't. No.
Right, that makes sense. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. He's buried in the Washington National Cathedral, Washington, D.C. Specifically, the tomb is located in the Wilson Bay, which was dedicated in 1956 to mark the centennial of his birth. He was initially interred in the Bethlehem Chapel of the cathedral, but was moved to the newly constructed Wilson Bay in 1956. He's the only U.S. president to be buried in Washington, D.C.
Well, they gotta deify, him because he's the founder of
He's the guy.
the cabal.
He's the guy.
Well, I would say this. I think Roosevelt
He got it.
probably would have been the worst president ever hadn't we had World War II. Even though he wanted to get in the war, he was looking for something to get into the war, I think.
Oh, well, yeah.
I think Pearl Harbor was kind of his little...
And guess who?
Allegedly.
Guess who FDR called his boy? Guess who FDR said he wanted to be just like?
Woodrow Wilson?
Woodrow Wilson?
Woodrow Wilson.
Wow.
Imagine that.
He dedicated a statue to him and said
not his cousin.
No.
Not Teddy.
Not Teddy.
Not Teddy.
Beloved president.
Yeah.
No. Woodrow Wilson. And oh, by the way, why did Teddy Roosevelt suddenly decide to run for president when he had said, I'm done? When he retired in his 50s, he said, I'm done running for president. I'm done. And here's my boy Taft. And then Taft was like, suddenly nothing he did was Taft was boys with him. I mean, they were friends, and Taft was like bewildered by this shift because he's like, I did everything Teddy wanted me to do. I was basically a rubber stamp for Teddy Roosevelt's policies. And then suddenly Teddy Roosevelt's like, oh, we need to get rid of this guy. We need to get rid of him. And then when the RNC's like, no, we can't let you run. We're going to rerun Taft. And Teddy's like, okay, well, I'm going for my own party and run anyway. Pulled a freaking Ross Perot.
Yeah.
And split the ticket. And Woodrow Wilson gets in with less than half of the country voting for this dude.
Yep. Exactly.
And it's like
that's what happened with Bush won. Perot ran, and Bush lost, and Clinton won.
Yep. And suddenly all sorts of shenanigans happened.
Not only that, during the campaign, Perot quit.
Yep.
And then
a month later, he was still on the ballot.
Then he got back into it like a month later or a couple weeks later.
Well, once he lost all momentum, but he could still split some vote off. He got back into it. Yeah,
he got a pretty good percentage too.
Yep.
Wrangler. Whole lot. Well, yeah, I even signed a petition to put him on the freaking ballot when I lived in California.
Yeah,
I was all for it because I hated Bush. I didn't like Clinton either. You people.
Man talked a lot of sense.
He did. But yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you. I kind of like got these vibes from Clinton early on when he did like a town hall with a bunch of students from MTV. You know,
Right.
MTV was like pushing a motor voter. You know,
Yeah.
this is the
Oh,
this
yeah.
is the young hip candidate, right?
MTV.
And
got him
then
elected.
some little girl asked him boxers or briefs, and he answered that question.
Oh, shit.
Nice.
Jackass.
And when I saw that, I'm like, "Are you kidding me?"
Not surprised.
That gave me freaking creeps. This is like a teenage girl asking him that question, and he's like, "Oh yeah, briefs. Yeah, I wear briefs. I wear briefs. You know." And it's just like did that dude just? And then he's like playing saxophone badly on Arsenio Hall, and it's like
Arsenio Hall. Yeah, I remember that. Holy crap!
But he won with a very low percentage of the vote. He won a very low percentage of the vote. And we won't even talk about 2020, 2:00 in the morning. You know.
What happened there?
Anyway. Yeah.
Oh, that was a fair election, Bunny.
Yeah.
Morning club.
Definitely.
Right.
The bestest president in U.S. history got that, and we miss him terribly. Now.
That was a fair. That was a
Miss
fair
him
election
terribly.
in Germany. Mm.
Terribly. Yeah, we want to talk. We want to go to the hanging Chad, election. We won't go into that.
Poor
one.
Chad.
But anyway,
He was just hanging out, not
was
doing
hanging.
anything, not hurting nobody.
He just wanted a beer.
hanging out.
He
Hang
just
it out.
wanted a beer, and then he gets freaking just, doxed
And what
gang
happens when the dude
wild.
gets into office? What happens when the dude gets into office? Suddenly there's planes crashing into the towers, and we need to go to war over this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what happened when he was in office? I'll tell you what happened when he was in office. Strategery.
Strategery. Yeah.
Shit. Strategery. No.
So
Yeah.
the reason why I think personally, I think that Woodrow Wilson is the most evil president we've ever had is because he set the template for all the evil presidents to come.
Yes.
And I mean, he played the press, he played the media, he got them, they rubber stamped everything he did. And he did, he basically set the rules for that they've all followed ever since. I mean, it's like Woodrow did it first.
Yeah.
And everybody since then has like, when that has taken away rights or has created bureaucracy or has gotten us involved in wars and things like that. They all seem to follow this pattern that he set.
Wonderful Lindsey Graham is a fan of Woodrow Wilson. Since he went over to frickin' Ukraine and violated the Hatch Act. Son of a bitch.
And suddenly Ukraine thinks they can openly attack Russia again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Why is it like every Democratic president in the last 100+ years, has been an asshole to the nation? Side two, besides Truman and Kennedy.
Well, there's always exceptions to the rule.
Well, true, but I mean, you look at it, it's like, well, we had Wilson, Roosevelt, and then there was,
Hey, he was
Johnson,
Kennedy,
and then Carter.
Kennedy, yeah, fuck. Johnson, LBJ was a son of a bitch. He was a racist, racist a-hole supreme.
The only reason he was on Kennedy's ticket was because he needed the Southern vote.
Yeah, that's the only reason why he ever was.
The Southern Democrat vote.
Yes, Southern Democrat vote.
So there was no switch, guys.
No. No.
There was no switch.
Yeah.
Needed him.
And but he voted the civil rights bill in, which has been great.
Yeah.
It's been great for the country and great for minorities.
And they got in the National Firearms Act of 1968, I think it was. Yeah, which basically hurt the black community, so they couldn't buy firearms. That was racist in the intention. He created welfare and all the goodies to basically destroy the family unit in the black communities, fatherless homes and stuff like that. That's all the same. That's all what it is right now.
So you mean he was racist like this guy? This guy?
He said he'd have the black community voting Democrat for the next 200 years.
Except he didn't say black community.
He didn't say that. Yes, exactly.
He did not say black community.
No. That's on tape in the White House. That's funny.
How come he didn't have, assign more Secret Service details to Bobby Sr. in California?
He was afraid of him.
Oh, by the way, I found a direct link between
Sirhan. Holy shit!
What's
He's
up, dude?
here.
He's alive.
He's alive. He's alive.
Problem Bing is here.
Well, you can't go to bed now.
By the way, I found a direct link between Sirhan and MK Ultra.
Is that
There's a direct link between Sirhan and MK Ultra. Yeah. That was brought up the other day, and I was like, there we go again. Here we go again.
Yeah. Damn. Everything points to to MK Ultra. Everything.
It's all connected.
It's all freaking connected, man. All of it's connected. Jeez Louise. So.
I can feel that, brother. Pain, buddy. I feel that, brother. I feel that 100%.
Well, stay out of the discos. Maybe you won't be so tired all the time. Anyway.
He's busy.
Just kidding.
Anyway, he's busy with his models of the different Time Lords TARDISes and stuff.
Yes.
He's actually doing some pretty cool stuff on his Instagram page. So, since he got banned from YouTube, or not YouTube, but banned from the Twitters and the X. So, but
got banned from X. Is that possible now?
Yeah,
I guess
there was a bunch of PLO people, and he had a fight with them, and so they mass banned him.
I forgot to turn this on. So
assholes.
Anyway, so I guess we'll just go ahead and I'm fairly certain what the vote's going to be, but maybe
problem being vote in my poll.
Maybe I'll be surprised. Maybe I'll be surprised. I don't know. But I'll just say that I think that not only is this dude evil, but I think he's the root of pretty much the root of all evil.
Well,
okay.
There you go.
There you go.
More dangerous than a Taliban.
Well. Now you're probably more dangerous than Donald Trump because him and Elon are on the outs.
That's a subject for another stream. Holy shit.
It is. I know.
There we go.
Hey, assuming they haven't kissed and made up by the time we do it.
Who knows?
I don't know.
Put a meme up. Someone put a meme up, a picture of both of them sitting at a table, and they both have phones. And Trump's caption is, now call me a retard.
I've seen it. Yeah, that was funny.
You know what? I wouldn't doubt it.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's a psyop of some
game. Seriously, it's some kind of. I would imagine it would be a psyop, but
yeah,
I would not be shocked if this is some kind of ploy to get to the left, to force the left to say release the file from Epstein.
Probably. Merc first, egos first, more like anyway.
Have a good one, problem.
Derailing your
see
stream.
You again soon.
Duh, you're not derailing it, brother.
You need to come on more, man.
Yeah.
I know. We're going to have to see you again sometime. It's been ages.
Yeah, it's been a long time, man. We need to get some way to send you a link somehow.
We need the problem being.
All right, I'm going to say this.
Yes, say
okay.
I'm going to say this, guys. pay attention. There has been more legislative wins in the last since this things happened. There's been more legislative wins for the Trump administration than pretty much since his inauguration, and it's just happened since this fight's been going on, and so while the press is like flipping out. While the press has been flipping out, he's been quietly making stacking up wins while they're over here going like, they're fighting, yay, and and so I can't help but think that yeah, well, even if it doesn't, I mean, I just think got to my destination, need to go inside. Y'all still going to get us, all right? Not Wrangler, not Wrangler. F. All right. I think I know what problem being's going with. F.
Woodrow Wilson. He voted in my poll.
There you go. All right. So okay, I'm going to say confirmed, about the highest degree of confirmed that I've had since we started this thing. What do you think, Wookie? Is he the most evil president we've ever had?
I would say yes. Barring any other information that we receive about the past derelict in office. You never know.
Well, I don't know if you can be evil when you're that incompetent, though.
Well, his auto pen had a mind of its own, or was that just his assistants?
Yeah, I don't know.
Evil assistant.
Maybe his coke sniffing son. Maybe a little bit. Anyway. Evil. Anyway, all right. What do you think, Abby? What do you say, Abby?
I'm in the middle. No, it's confirmed.
I was ready to kick you, man. I was going to kick your ass. You got me for a second there. I was like, you can't not be in the middle on this one, damn it. You got me, man. You got me. All right. What do you think?
Me?
What do you think, Crow?
Oh well, I can't take the piss now. Thanks, Abby. No, definitely confirmed. So yeah.
All right.
I was going to go off on a tangent to see how wrong you are and all that. So.
Okay. You got? Is anybody in your poll, buddy?
Yep. Let me look.
Are we shutting them off?
One vote confirmed. Yeah.
Well, I got 3 votes for confirmed and nothing else. So confirmed wins.
Imagine that
by a landslide.
You think Time Prophet would say debunked at this
Probably.
one?
Just to have fun.
You think even he would say?
Time Prophet would say this.
Yeah.
There's room for improvement.
How low can you go?
Prophet. I gotta reach out to him.
It's been a while.
I think in the terms of evil, he was the limbo king, because he went as low as you can freaking go, just about every conceivable way. But all right.
I just
but yeah, name other candidates for evil president. I think I've heard some people say some things about Abraham Lincoln and the way that the wrong people seem to be up his ass makes me think that maybe he wasn't the paragon of virtue that we always say he is.
Well, I do know this, which was confirmed in some letters that he apparently had sent out days prior to his assassination, that his plan was, once the Civil War was over, was to round up all the freed slaves and ship them off to some freaking island somewhere.
Liberia.
All of them. North, south, east, west. It was going to round them all up and ship them out of the country.
Well, Razor Fist has a rant on this that is must see.
Okay.
Because he has all his ducks in a row about that Lincoln may not have been the paragon of virtue. But when you see the people that are just blow smoke all the time about Lincoln, you got to think that maybe he has a point. Because when evil, vile POS people are always blowing smoke about you, maybe we can reassess.
Yeah.
Right.
But then you got FDR. FDR was definitely up there and or down there in terms of evil presidents.
He's
Well,
yeah.
Probably not going to be a popular choice, but I'm going to say Andrew Jackson. He was a pretty.
Oh yeah, he despised. He was a racist son of a bitch too.
Founder of the Democrat Party.
Yeah,
he was a staunch racist against all the Native American tribes.
Travelers, that was his, right?
He and David Crockett historically butted heads throughout, their lives.
Well, I would laugh be today if that happened. Just asking for a friend. Right.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, I think he would be up there. I think he would definitely be up there.
Oh yeah, Andrew Jackson was a good general, and he sucked as a president.
And then I would also say
too much of an asshole.
I would say too. Toss up with me is with William Harold Harrison and James Polk.
Yeah. Polk doesn't get talked much, but he was probably instrumental in the Civil War happening. So
he was pushing Manifest Destiny he was the one that was president when we went against Mexico to get California.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's responsible for us getting California. Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Definitely evil.
Yeah.
Maybe burn in hell. There you go.
It started out good, but then it went bad real quick.
Yeah, it went downhill.
Okay, all right.
All right.
The Nobel Peace Prize has only been handed to Theodore Roosevelt, Woodrow Wilson, Obama, and there's one more. I think it might be it. I had, but anyway, it's like the Obama one's really great.
He got that before he was ever president.
Right.
He got that during the freaking campaign.
Yeah.
Or right after he was elected, before he was sworn in to do anything. He got it. They gave it to him.
Yeah. Well, they gave it to him basically because he wasn't George W. Jimmy Carter. I thought it was Jimmy Carter. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Jimmy Carter got it for, but it was after his presidency.
Yeah,
but
Jimmy Carter.
only three have got.
Well, he got it. I think he got it for his Habitat and Humanity stuff. It wasn't for his presidency.
Probably after his presidency.
Yeah, it wasn't for his presidency, no.
Yeah, but hey, just
and
a point of fact, as far as Habitat for Humanity, he took that over from somebody and kicked the founder out.
Right.
He didn't make that motherfucker. He acquired it and then kicked out everybody who was involved with it that founded it.
Right.
And took it over.
Yeah. Look into Carter. Carter's did a lot of shady shit. A lot.
Oh yeah. Oh God, yes.
Yeah. As a,
the only redeeming quality of Jimmy Carter as president was that he had a crackpot brother that everybody liked.
Billy.
Yeah, he was fun.
Kind of like
so the
Bill,
only we only had three presidents that won the Nobel while they were in office. All three of them, it's Theodore, Woodrow, and Barack. And we had two had a president win it out of office. That was Jimmy Carter. And then we had a vice president that won it. Anybody remember who that is?
Spiro Agnew.
Al Gore.
Oh God, that idiot!
Because of his work with climate change.
Another scam.
The climate fraud.
The climate scam.
Of course.
So I mean, it's like Nobel has like ruined all their credibility for all time. I mean, not even pay attention to these people. But
He won the
anyway,
Nobel Prize for scams.
Mr. Peanut, yeah, Mr. Peanut, definitely. All right, so we have. I definitely have to play the this one here. Definitely confirmed.
Yeah, by a landslide this time, I think.
Yeah.
A little.
Unanimous.
By a landslide, yeah. Yeah, we're pretty much ditto heads tonight on that one. So I was thinking next week, how about we tackle the moon landing?
Wookie?
Anyone? No? Is that a no?
No.
No? Okay.
No.
Malcolm X is murdered.
All right. Okay, how about was RFK, MLK, RFK, and Malcolm X murders all connected? Because they all happened within, like, what, 2 or 3 years of each other? Maybe.
Yeah, RFK and MLK. Yeah.
RFK, MLK, JFK, and Malcolm X.
JFK, I don't know.
So they all happened like right on top of each other. All four of them happened like
within a 5-year period.
In a 5-year period, yeah.
You know, there's something interesting about the MLK assassin.
I
mean, didn't this
James
guy
Earl Ray?
didn't have any freaking idea what the fuck was going on?
No, he's the only one that for the rest of his life, all the way to the end, said that he didn't have anything to do with it. So basically, just found a guy connected to the local KKK and
pinned him with it,
hung it on him.
MK Ultra.
Anyway, so we can do that next week.
Sure. Is there a connection? I don't know. Abby, do you have a connection? I don't know.
Well, this earlier I didn't have a connection to shit.
All right.
We'll have to get you a string with a cup on the end of it.
Yeah.
I probably got better reception than that. You know, low tech.
I hear you.
Okay, so next week we got a foursome. We'll have to do each individual assassination and see if there's any connection between them. So
four.
And, oh, by the way,
JFK, RFK, MLK. Who's number 4?
Malcolm X.
Oh, Malcolm X.
Malcolm X.
Oh yeah, Malcolm X. Yeah.
Okay,
they're all
so
done by Louis Farrakhan.
Well, I know for a fact that Sirhan and the guy who shot the JFK assassin, Jack
Oswald.
Ruby. I know
Oswald.
Yeah, the guy who shot Oswald. Both Jack Ruby and Sirhan were definitely connected to MK Ultra. I know that's that connection.
Oh, right.
Yep.
So both of them were definitely connected with MK Ultra. And so it'd be interesting to see if there's any other connections that we can make. So that's going to be, I guess we'll call it the assassination Aganza or something like that. You know,
Yeah, there we go.
Assaganza. There you go.
Assaganza.
Next week. Yeah. 4-pack of assassinations. There we go. That's going to be next week.
Cast of characters.
So that one might go a little long. We'll find out.
All right.
But that's going to be next week. And
what is next week?
Ahead.
It's Father's Day, isn't it? Yes, it is.
Yeah.
No. What?
All right.
Yeah.
Next
week is
Saturday?
Father's Day. Yeah. Next
When is
Sunday.
Father's? Is it Sunday?
Yeah. So I probably won't be here.
I think
It's on the 15th.
Father's Day's on the 22nd, isn't it?
It's on the 15th, I think. I look at the old interweb here.
Okay. All right. All right.
Father's Day is the 15th.
But
the most
well, we
one, the
can
most
we can
one is
always
June
wait.
19th, you know, Juneteenth. Oh, hey, next Saturday is Flag Day. Next Saturday is Flag Day.
Okay, well, we can hold off on that till Abby can make it, and we'll just do the moon landing next week. We'll just do moon landing next week. So.
Have fun, Wookie.
I need to find out what you're usually the one that's like, hey, gung ho, let's do this, and and you're like acting like you see the ghost or something every time I bring it up. What's going on here? Again, you'll wait till we get off.
See, it's
off the screen.
No, because
it's like when I bring up Scientology to you, buddy. That's what it is.
Fuck.
See,
fuck. No, because there's freaking they've already verified 2 landing sites of an Apollo landings on the moon from Earth with fucking telescopes, and they're taking pictures of the son of a bitch. Matter of fact, what was that, the Orion space thing that they sent up there? They took pictures of shit. That was one of the places they took pictures of. Former landing sites, and the limbs are still there.
Okay. All right.
But yeah,
All
and people have seen it have with big telescopes.
So that's recently during the
yes.
Okay. Okay. So this is recently, like during the AI era, right? Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Well.
All right. Okay. All right, guys.
The face on Mars is real.
All right. So we'll do something next week if I can't make it. So anyway, thank y'all for coming.
There's a pillar on Phobos 1.
Cryptids and Conspiracies. We will see you next time. Same cryptids. Oh,
yes.
We're not doing Mars. We're not doing Mars shit. Okay, we're not doing that. Anyway.
No Mars. Okay.
All right.
I'm from Mars.
All right, guys. We'll talk to you next week. We'll talk to you next week. So, good night, everybody.
Bye, everybody.